Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book related things. And today I'm going to go ahead and give you my 2026 goals for the year. I do this video every year and the goals kind of shift and change and get categorized and whatnot. I feel like my goals for this year are very similar to my goals for last year, and I think goal is, I feel like I'm not necessarily using, it's not like a once I meet this, I'm done kind of goal. It's more, this is something I would like to continue to do, a habit that I've taken up, activity that I do, I would like to continue to do, or I would like to start doing, or I would like to add this, change this, shift this, that kind of thing. So there's that caveat. Also, these are going to be split into 3 separate sections. Mouse reads, which is generally this and my other social media things. Clear your shit, because the readathon is inherently its own beast, and then just my own personal reading goals and that kind of thing. This will specifically for personal be reading goals and not any kind of like personal life goals. I don't like to include those here because there is something about like listing off a resolution and telling other people the resolution, and when you get that validation of people going, oh wow, that's such a good resolution, I hope that it works out super great for you, that validation kind of fulfills that need, and so you're less likely to meet the resolution. So I don't generally talk on any kind of personal goals like that, but I will tell you my reading goals because I try to hold myself to that standard. So let's talk about mouse reads first. We're gonna go into that. For 2026, I'd like to have more creative videos. I know that I'm gonna take a little bit of a maternity leave in the middle of the year, but I would like to come up with more creative video ideas or something. Pay attention to some of the trends on BookTube. Maybe participate in some of those trends instead of just continuing to do my own thing. I think the content that I make, I'm going to continue to make. I like the way that my vlogs work. I like my TBRs and my wrap-ups. But some of the things that I do in the in-between, I think could be a little bit more creative, and I think I'm capable of making more creative content. My life just kind of has been very up and down since I've started this channel, and things are constantly changing. And so the content I make constantly changes, and I think for a little while I was just kind of taking a backseat to the content and just doing the same thing for a couple of years just because it was easier. So I would like to, like I said, pay attention to some of those trends that are happening on BookTube and go from there. BookTube gets overlooked a lot, so there's not as many trends there as there is like on Book Talk, but I have hopes that I can look at those and try to participate in, and I don't know, just come up with more creative ideas or revisit some older ideas. Like my childhood reread series, I think I could do those now in a different way and it'd be more fun. Although some of those were some of my most creative videos I ever did, but yeah. I also would like to actually start trying to make content for other platforms. So Book Talk, Instagram, that's really it. Book Talk and Instagram, Reels, that kind of thing, which inherently means I would be able to make shorts for YouTube. Just things so that the channel doesn't just fall to the wayside of, oh, Andy just continues to make the same content over and over and over again. This would make things a little bit newer, a little bit fresher, and keep me on my toes for content. TikTok is a little bit for me, because it's always been more of my personal yapping rather than any kind of reading content, but I would like to do more reading content on there. I think it would be fun. Short form video content isn't impossible, and I've done it. It's just never really been book focused, so I want to try to do that and then repost on things like Reels and then Shorts and make use of these platforms in the appropriate way, instead of just kind of forgetting that I have other platforms that I manage. I also would like, when I'm making videos, to make a conscious effort to be more descriptive about the books that I'm talking about when I'm doing an update, like in a vlog. I've been doing better about that because of the way that I take notes and the way that I edit my videos now. It's a lot easier for me to make that kind of content, but or like be more descriptive in my content, but that is a goal that I have. I would like to make a real effort to be more descriptive, because I know what I'm talking about, but that doesn't mean you know what I'm talking about. And so, you know, an example of things that I've done to help with me talking about other books is putting the book information up in this right-hand corner so that you know what book I'm talking about, but I'd like to be more descriptive when talking about the plot and the things that I do and don't like, instead of just being kind of vague out of fear of spoiling things. I think if you're watching my vlogs, you know there's a risk that you'll find a spoiler. That just is what it is. And then the last thing on my Mouse Reads goal is that I think as a way of getting my digital books lowered, I would like to make a TBR jar. Also, I think it could be really fun, especially during my maternity leave. I might be like, I don't know if I want to read, and then I can just like shake the jar up and grab a book title. There's a lot of different ways I can go about this. I'm not totally sure how I'm going to do it, but I think I will probably just end up printing out the covers, cutting them up, and sticking them in a jar, like as the easiest way to do it. I might glue them onto some cardboard or something so that they are a little sturdier. But I think that the issue with that though is like then I can see what the cover probably is before I pull it out. But I think, you know, making my TBR, like my standard TBR like I always do, and then having 1 or 2 books that I just pick out of a jar. But then that also means, you know, if I finish my TBR early, I can pick the next book out of the jar. And I think that can help me get things like my digital copies down. And then also I just think it would be fun. I think it would be a fun way of doing content, and that kind of goes into that creative content ideas. I know people do TBR jars and TBR games and all the things all of the time. This is not a unique idea, but it's new to me. So I think it could be fun to do. Next up, we're going to talk about my Clear Your Shit goals. Clear Your Shit this year has been a fucking shit show. It's largely because my normal planning time, I was in my first trimester and I was fighting for my life. Okay, I was trying really hard and things were really difficult. Because I am taking a break from Clear Your Shit, I will not be doing the mini readathon this year. I think it gives me a lot of room for Clear Your Shit Year 7 to be even better than any of the previous years. But there's some specific goals I have for this. I want to revamp the website. It needs a full overhaul, a new makeover. It really needs me to sit down for like 8 hours and just work on it. And I really need to just do that. And I think I can. I think I can. That's something I can focus on next year. There might be time during my maternity leave that I'm just like, I'm bored and would like to work on something. And I think that could be a great time. I mean, maybe not, who knows? I would like to go ahead and create an archive of the posts pre the Clear Your Shit website that used to be on the Mouse Reads website that no longer exists. So I would like to make an archived post of the previous posts so that we've got all of that text there. I think I can swing it. I think it is not as difficult of a task as it might initially seem. But that way if someone is looking for those things, they can be found on the blog of the website more conveniently than just trying to find something, because right now you just kind of have to go to Twitter, and I know that not everybody likes to go to Twitter for very obvious reasons. So this is a maybe goal and not a committed goal. I might want to make more merch. The merch we have is great and it's fun, but it's old and we've had the same merch for years. And I think that I think with the new theme of the story, with the library and where that's going, no spoilers, but where it's going, I think gives a lot of room for me to make more merch. And I want to look into updating some of the merch. Like, can I make bookmarks more conveniently now? What does that look like? That kind of thing. That's the things I want to look at. I will admit that the FAQ should be revamped, because the readathon has gotten so big, and I would like to revamp the FAQ to be actually a little bit more helpful than it currently is. The FAQ was kind of made as a joke initially because my answer to just about everything for a very long time with Clear Your Shit was just do it. Just read. Everything counts. It doesn't matter. It's fine. But I realize that a lot of neurodivergent people participate in this readathon, and you guys need really specific guidelines, and that's fine. I get it. I'm not quite in that camp, but I get it. And so I don't mind revamping the FAQ to make it a little bit more effective for everyone. And so I think that's an important goal for me to do. I think it's more accessible for other people if I take the FAQ a little bit more seriously, instead of just making it out of the frustration of me having to say, yes, it counts, everything counts, stop asking me if it counts. That still might be the answer to the FAQ question, but you know, I also would like to plan the readathon well before October, because this year it is currently October 21st as of filming this. The readathon starts November 1st. I just finished the last 2 posts and scheduling everything today. I just finished it. Yeah, I'd like to not do that again this year. And I think, again, taking the break that I will from not doing the mini readathon will give me a lot more time to plan the big readathon, which will then inherently give me more time to plan the mini readathon for 7.5 instead of, 6.5. So those are the big goals for Clear Your Shit. And last but not least, we're going to talk about my personal reading goals. So I would like to continue a lot of the things I'm already doing. I like the way that I have done a lot of my goals. Yeah, I think almost all but one of these is just continue. I would like to continue to try every month to progress in a series or finish a series. I think that that has been really beneficial to me. I think that it has helped me lower those series that I just had floating around. And I would really like to get ahead of some of these things. I would like to continue to read one of every genre every single month at minimum. It makes my book blanket for the year come out much more varied, which I need to plan the book blanket for 2026. No one talked to me about that. I think I'm gonna do granny squares out of convenience, but I would like to continue to read one genre of every month, of every kind every month, because I think that it forces me to look for books outside of my own personal preference. It forces me to read things that I don't think I normally would have read, which sometimes leads to me reading things and really deeply enjoying them, which is kind of fun. Like, it's been kind of fun. I mean, I still stand by that I don't really love contemporary and I don't really love historical, but I've learned that there's a lot of romances that I do actually like. And initially I thought I hated all romance. So, that's a cool benefit to this. I also would like to continue to have it as a goal to read one classic every other month. I still don't want it to be my goal for every month because I think that would be really difficult. But I think that that stretches my brain and forces me to try to read more difficult books than what I normally read. And then also some of these are like children's classic books and that kind of thing that I might have read as a child but just didn't really understand, and it's been kind of nice to read them now as an adult and see how I might understand the content a little bit better, and what that might look like for me. I really have enjoyed this goal this year, although I'm not really doing it for November and December for the sake of sanity, but for the sake of Clear Your Shit. But for the rest of the year when I'm not doing Clear Your Shit, I think that it's a really good goal to have. I, lastly on this list, would like to reread the October Day series, which is kind of intense because it's 19 or 20 books, something like that. I would like to reread it because I just read the most recent one. I've enjoyed it so thoroughly and I keep recommending this series. I should reread it. I should reread it. Also because there's a lot of Shauna McGuire books that are coming out this year that I'm excited for, and I just, maybe I'll just fill my months up with 2 October Day books every month, on top of the releases, just to continue to read Shannon every single month like a crazy person. I don't know, like a super fan. But I think these are really good personal goals for me to have without making it so difficult that I can't do it, especially because I've seen myself do it. So that is the goals for 2026. They're pretty short, sweet, simple. I used to have goals like, do I want to get monetized on YouTube? I want to reach this many subscribers, and it's so much easier for my life if I don't view making content with those kinds of goals. If I just make content that I think is fun, and that you guys have asked for, the people that are already here, then I feel less overwhelmed, and I like doing this way without those kinds of goals. I find those kinds of goals a little bit overly stressful. But what are your goals for 2026, or what do you think about some of my goals? And are there any of the goals that I've done that you've decided to make your own goals? I love to talk about those things in the comments with you. Are there any creative video ideas that you think I should do? I'd love to hear those too. But that's the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I'd say let me know how I can make it better for you, but I only make these videos once a year. So, but I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week, except for the first full week of the month. So I will see you guys later on this week. Don't forget to take your meds and drink your water and do something today to take care of yourselves, like setting realistic goals. Okay, thanks, bye.